Okay, let's be real. It feels like everyone is talking about generative AI, right? It's everywhere. But today, we're going to look beyond the hype and ask a really big question. What comes next? Our source material today, based on the incredible work of Dr. Yogesh Malhotra, argues that the future isn't just a slightly better version of what we have now. No, it's a whole new paradigm. So, let's dive in. To get us started, I want you to just let this quote sink in for a second. In a world where we're constantly told that data is the new oil, this statement from Judea Pearl is, well, it's a jolt to the system, isn't it? But it perfectly sets the stage for our conversation. It forces us to ask, is our obsession with data actually holding us back from seeing what AI could truly become? So, to figure out where AI is headed, we have to be brutally honest about where it is right now. And according to our source, we're kind of stuck. We're stuck in what's called the backward AI problem. I mean, think about all the amazing AI we see today, like the big, large language models. They're incredible, for sure, but they all share one fundamental trait. They work by looking backward. They analyze massive amounts of old data to predict the next word, the next image, the next move. That's why it's called backward AI. And while that's super useful, in a world that never stops changing, only looking in the rearview mirror can be a massive flaw. And here's where it gets really interesting. The source material describes our current time as the post-WWW era, an era defined by just radical, unpredictable change. See, in a nice, stable world, the past is a pretty good roadmap for the future. But in our world, a world of constant surprises and disruptions, relying on only historical data isn't just a little bit off. It can be flat-out dangerous. The old maps just don't work anymore. So you have to wonder, how do we get so fixated on this one single backward-looking method? Our source suggests that we've kind of developed a collective amnesia. It's like we've forgotten about all the other tools in the toolbox. You know, if you were to rewind the clock about 30 years, the field of AI looked a lot more diverse. Yeah, you had neural networks, which are fantastic for spotting patterns. But you also had expert systems, which are designed to capture human roles and expertise. You had fuzzy logic, which is built to handle all the gray areas in life, the stuff that isn't just black and white. And you had genetic algorithms, which basically mimic evolution to discover brand new solutions. AI used to be a much, much bigger world. But today, the conversation is almost entirely dominated by one thing: neural networks. And don't get me wrong, their success has been absolutely mind-blowing. But it's also created a silo. We've become so hyper-focused on this one approach that we've forgotten that these other tools are often way better at handling the messiness and true uncertainty that data-hungry neural networks really struggle with. Forgetting about them is like a carpenter deciding he's going to build an entire house using only a hammer. It just doesn't make sense. Okay, so if being stuck in a silo is the problem, what's the solution? Well, this is where it gets really cool. The source suggests we need to break out by modeling our AI on the most powerful adaptive system we know of, our own minds. And this leads to a completely new idea called the human quantum mind.
Now, before you start thinking about quantum computers, let's be clear, this is a metaphor for how our brains actually work. See, we don't just use logic or intuition. We use both, plus creativity, plus pattern recognition, all at the same time, all in parallel. A quantum mind, in this context, is a system that can bring that entire forgotten AI toolbox back together, using the rule-based thinking of an expert system, the nuance of fuzzy logic, and the pattern matching of a neural network, all working together simultaneously.
And this Einstein quote just nails the shift in thinking. Backward AI is obsessed with knowledge, with data. But this new way of thinking, this forward AI, it values something uniquely human. It values imagination, intuition, creativity. And why is that? Because those are the skills you absolutely need when you're facing something that has never, ever happened before. And that's the absolute key. We are fundamentally changing the goal. The old game was prediction, trying to guess what's going to happen based on what already happened. The new game, as the source so brilliantly puts it, is the anticipation of surprise. It's about building systems and, more importantly, cultivating minds that are resilient and adaptive enough to thrive in a future that is, by its very nature, unpredictable. To really get this, really get to the core of it, we need to understand a critical difference that this whole framework is built on. It comes from an economist named Frank Knight, and it's all about the two different kinds of unknowns that we face in the world. Okay, let's break this down because it's so important. On one side, you've got risk. Think of it like a casino. You don't know if the next roll of the dice will be a 7, but you know the exact odds. It's an unknown future, but it's measurable. Current AI is an absolute master at managing risk. But on the other side, you have uncertainty. This is totally different. It's unmeasurable because there's no history to go on. It's the realm of true, genuine surprise. And as Frank Knight himself pointed out, navigating this true uncertainty, that's where the real value is created. It's the foundation of entrepreneurship, of innovation, of real strategy. It's the ability to make a move when there is no playbook. And that is a deeply, profoundly human skill. All right, let's make this whole idea really concrete with a fantastic real-world analogy that comes straight from the source material. So first, imagine a self-driving car on a beautiful sunny day. The traffic is light, the lanes are perfectly painted, the map is 100% accurate. This is a controlled, stable, almost lab-like environment. It's a problem of risk management. Past data is a perfect guide for what to do next. This is the perfect playground for backward AI. Now, let's totally flip the script. Imagine you are driving in a blizzard on a sheet of ice. The source calls this a messy, wicked environment. Your GPS is useless. The lines on the road are gone. All your experience driving on sunny days is suddenly irrelevant. What do you rely on? You rely on feel, on intuition, on adapting every single second just to survive. That is your quantum mind in action, using logic, experience, and creativity all at once to navigate pure uncertainty. That's the skill we need. And all of this brings us to the ultimate point, the big takeaway from this whole paradigm shift. This isn't just about building a better machine. It's about something much more collaborative and, frankly, much more human. Just let that quote from Dr. Malhotra sink in for a minute. The future isn't about AI replacing humans, it's about AI augmenting them. The real competitive advantage down the road won't be about who has the biggest AI model. It'll be about who has the smartest people using these incredible tools to navigate uncertainty and anticipate surprise. The focus shifts right back to us. So, we'll leave you with this final thought to chew on. As these AI technologies become more and more powerful, we face a choice. Do we put all our energy into perfecting the machine, or do we focus on cultivating our own unique, human, quantum mind capabilities so that we can use these tools wisely? The answer we choose is going to define our future.